Welcome to the first of a new anime review series. This is Testament of a New Sister Devil. Yep, I decided to do this because why not? And plus, it's really short. Now, what got me into this series? What got me interested in it? Well, I noticed the cover art simply is similar to that of High School DxD, and the fact the series surprisingly has got many similarities to High School DxD. Let's see. You have the main character who's got various girls who, let's just say, are very active about him. He lives in a big house. And the fact he had some frequent battles. And the fact that he has a weapon that can easily kill a lot of people. Like in the case of Issei from, High School DxD. And of course, let's talk about some of these characters. Before we talk about the actual stories themselves, how about some of the characters, basically how similar they are from High School DxD? First, let's talk about the main character, Bajin, who is very similar to that of Issei. How? Well, wears the same color outfit with the exception of his shirt, same hair color, the fact he wields a dangerous weapon, his main love interest is a redhead, and the fact he's a really strong character. And he lives in a big house. Yep. He's voiced by an actor I've never heard of before, a guy by the name of Chris Hinkie. Yep, that's the name of the guy who voiced him. You also have Mia voiced by Laura Linda. I've seen her in a few different series. She, like case of Bajin, has also similar to the character of Reyes from High School DxD. Female lead of the series, voiced by an actress from Funimation, because the dub is done by Funimation. Let's see. They're both, let's just say, infatuated with the main character of the series. Let's see. They're in a master-servant relationship. The difference is, he's the master, she's a servant. That's the only slight difference for that. Oh yeah, she loves to be shown in the nude in this series. Like Reyes loves to. The only difference is she tends to tease him about it. While in the case of Mio, she basically does it by sheer coincidence. That's the last summers I can think of. You also have Maria, voiced by Kira Backlund. Another actress I've heard in a few different series. She, of course, is there a character from High School DxD similar to this character? Yes. Kurome. What's the similarity between these two? Same hair color, the fact they're super strong, and they have a thing for sitting on the main character's lap for absolutely no reason. I just simply enjoy it. Oh yeah, and they're also both really, really short. But the only difference between the two of them, Kurome is simply a cat, while in the case of Maria, she's a succubus. Yes, a succubus. Which makes it the second series I've watched where it has a succubus in the series. Yes, last one was Rosario plus Vampire, surprisingly. We also have another character, Yuki. She's actually introduced in episode 5. I think she is. She has similarities not only to the character. There's a character from High School DxD who's a childhood friend of Issei's. The only similarity between those two is the fact that they're warriors, childhood friends of the main character, in love with the main character, and they want to be with the main character. That's simply it. She also has in common with Levi from Fairy Tail. Yes. How? What's similar between these two? Let's see. They both have got a similar face. They both got a similar hair color. And the fact these two have got similar outfits. Like, when they show flashbacks to her childhood, she wears similar outfits to what Levi wore in the Fairy Tail series. Yeah, very similar attires. Also, they do have one thing in common. They actually have known the main character since they were kids. But Levi is not in love with Natsu. It's implied that both Lasana and Lucy are both in love with Natsu. In the case of this series, yeah. In the case of her sister, Kurome, she has something in common with the other character. Fierce warrior. Has things with the main character. Let's see, anything else? Same hair color, obviously, though Yumi's hair is light blue. Kurome is dark blue. Yep. Kurome is voiced by Cindy Robinson. For some reason, I'm not really sure why I didn't click on it yet, Yuki's actor gets replaced with next season, with different actress. As for why, well, this is also season 2, but apparently she's got 2 different dub actors for some reason. I'm not really sure why. She just does. We also have the character of... Yeah, there's actually, believe it or not, because it's Funimation, is there a character voiced by Todd Heppercorn in the series? Oh yes, a guy named Takashi Hisei, who actually also appears, he appears in episode 6, believe it or not. He appears for 2 episodes, but that's as far as I got with him. We also have Chisizo Higawa, who's actually this smoking hot school nurse. And some people say she's too beautiful for what she is. And she's voiced by the awesome Wendy Lee. Love this woman's voice. We also briefly, I want to mention this character here, Zest. She appears for 1 episode of these 7. Yeah, she appeared in episode 5 briefly. Her introduction is the most, let's just say, usual thing when it comes to a particular series. The first thing you see in this character is her chest. Yep, that's the first thing you see. Not her feet, like a lot of the time, but it's her chest. And this character becomes a regular character in the series. This episode 5, is her introduction to the series. And that's her only appearance. She appears briefly, and that's it. Though the whole point of her showing up here is because she shows up in the next 7 episodes. Which I'll view in part 2. Yeah. What's the story for this particular series? Well, the main character got himself a little sister. Well, via sort of a marriage per se, even though marriage would not be true. Via a daughter of a former demon lord. He, of course, is a hero who's exiled from his village. They've done a flashback. It was actually due to him using the breaking shift, a move that accidentally caused death for a lot of his childhood friends, except for about a few of them. And Yuki doesn't resent for that, unlike another character does. Yep. So, they go to a restaurant, meet supposedly their new sisters and their mom. Yep, and of course he decides to go use the bathroom, and he meets Mio in the bathroom without noticing the fact she's in there. And she had just finished doing her business. And of course, preventing her from screaming, this is actually one of 2 times she does in the series. He basically covers her mouth, basically preventing her from screaming. And then of course they topple over, and then we have Jin, who is basically Bajiro's father, and Maria. We get her introduction to the series with this very scene, and they go to the house. It's a pretty big house. I gotta say, it's a lot bigger than Issei's house. Issei's house was like very smaller than this. This seems like a pretty good size for a home. And they move in. This lasts for about 1 day, and then it's revealed, oh yeah, we tricked you guys, so we're keeping this house to base operations. And then he turns around and says, yeah, you guys leave. And then he talks to his dad, realizes, yeah, you should definitely protect him. So he rushes out and saves him from a group of demons who are after him. Yeah, the reason why these demons are after her, because she's got the power, she got her father's power flowing through her body. So in the very next episode, they form the Master-Servant Contract. What the heck this is, it is one of the most weirdest things I have ever seen in an anime. Like, okay, they stand in the magic circle, which is typical for a supernatural anime to do. Okay, but the thing is, originally Mio was going to become the master, and Bajra was going to become the servant. Instead, Bajra got the symbol, and the thing is, the only way to subservient to them is he had to kiss the hand. She didn't, so she becomes sexually active, and she needs to calm down. How do they calm her down? Well, by groping her breasts, because it's her weak spot. Like grabbing her belly, grabbing her arms, like, try her breast. And that's her weak spot, and that calms her down. He has to do this several times in these episodes whenever she gets sexually aroused. He has to basically calm her by groping her. And she has no problem with this at all. Though in one episode, I've got to mention this before I continue. There is one episode where, believe it or not, in order to get her like recharged for a battle, like Maria comes up with the most strangest idea I've ever seen in a series. Dumping maple syrup on her chest. And groping her that way with that. Yeah, I'm sure some people basically get off of doing this when they're having sex. But I had nothing to say in the matter because I'm not going further than that. Yep. Yeah, that would just recharge for battle. Yeah. And of course, well, of course, he has to do it several times. Basically, episode 2 is also when he goes to school. And he meets his smoking hot childhood friend, Yuki. Which, I'm glad the fact they slightly changed in the anime-ish, where it's like, he's like, when he gets hugged by Yuki, who's a school rep, class rep, basically, he looks at her like, oh, Yuki? in the light novel and in the manga, it says, you're Yuki. He said, yep. Oh, I should point out, though, this series is adapted from light novels, which makes it the third anime I've watched where it's adapted from light novels. Yep. And you want to know how many light novels have been released for this series? There has been 12. I have read the first 6 right now. Yeah, I've read the first 6. I'm technically halfway through it. I'm only planning on reading about 2 more for now. I'll probably read the last 4 at a later date. Yep. Oh, and the studio that made this is let's see, what is the name of the series? It is Production IMS. Yeah, here's the strange thing about this series, this particular studio. It's no longer in business. Nope. Yeah, it filed for bankruptcy almost 16 months ago. Yeah, it's made by a studio that's no longer in business. Yeah, it's strange. And in case you're wondering, like, how many seasons did this show have? 2. Yep, just 2. And also had a few OVAs. The last thing they published for the series was actually about 2 years ago. Probably not long after I got hired on my job. Yep, and we also get introduction to one character appears in these episodes, aside from Yuki. We get used to Tagawa, who's this mass individual. Now, he himself reminds me of another character from a different series. He reminds me of I'm trying to think, what was that character's name? He was from Overlord. He was the floor guardian. I think it was floor 3. The guy who always dressed in he always dressed like in a fancy suit. As a matter of fact, he's the only demon dressed in a fancy suit. And by the way, this is not the only series. I almost forgot. Overlord has succubus as well. Yeah, it was the female lead of the series, Albedo. She was she's succubus as well. So this is the third series I've watched where you have a succubus. Yep. But she doesn't do much of anything. In the case of Maria, yeah, she does a lot of stuff. Very weird stuff. But not as weird as she tried to get Bajin to get to with Mio. Which, anytime she does something dumb, she gets grabbed by the top of her head by Mio, who's actually her master, and dragged off someplace to be punished. In case you're wondering, is this a gag in the series? Oh, yes, it is. It happens like times over the course of these episodes. It even still happens in the books as well. Yep. Let's see. So basically, Lars, who tries to take Mio back to the Neo Dimension, basically is stopped by Bajin and Maria. And since his thing ended in failure, he confronts him later on and figures out, yeah, this classmate of his is in fact the masked guy. Says, I'll keep your secret if you do some stuff for me. He's like, okay, fine. Yeah, just don't betray me, otherwise I'll kill you. It's like, that's fine. Yep. So, yeah, that particular arc went by a little quickly. Also, I should point out, though, the first episodes are actually really long. Like, the first episode of the series is almost 27 minutes. Like, of these 7 episodes, the second episode is the longest at 27.5 minutes. Heck, they even have one episode, I think it's in episode 3 or 4, I think it is. Yuki comes over. She tries to sneak into Bajran's house. This happens in episode 5, and first she drops some medicine for him, and then later on she breaks into his house. She opens the door thanks to Maria, and she proceeds to take off her clothes and put a towel around herself. Yeah, one of 2 big bat scenes in this one. Yeah, the other one is quite bizarre, to say the least. Where it's okay, he had come back home from buying a cake. Yes, a cake. And, he's in the bathroom, washing himself, And then Mio decides to wash him with her chest. Yep, all Maria's idea. And then Maria decides to bring in one of the pieces of cake. And then he proceeds to, because she dared to bring it into the bathroom, well, bring it to there, he proceeds to cover both of them, who both are completely naked, covered them completely in cake. Yep, and it turns out this whole thing was a dream. And apparently Maria has the ability to look into a dream. It's like, man, you have very perverted dreams. And this is one of 2 times she basically wakes up in bed with him. And no, she does not have sex with him at all. The second time is quite weirder. Like, he wakes up and then Maria's in his bed. Apparently she decided to not only take off all her clothes, crawl right on top of him, and sneak under his shirt. Like, wow. And then he just bops her in the head, not smack her, bops her in the head, and then gives him his shirt to put on. And that's what leads into Yuki basically trying to bathe him later. Of course, she's in new because why not? We gotta have every female character in the series butt naked. And that's when basically the curse activates. He has a curse basically when she dares to disobey the master. So basically, what does Bajin do? This of course is revealed via a flashback. They take her to a separate room and proceed to grope her. Yes, he seriously does this. Though, look how this is very quick. In the anime, in case you're wondering how long this lasted for in like the light novel, this lasted part of a chapter. Yes, the writer had to dedicate a whole section of a chapter to this. The main character groping the female lead of the series. Yep. That's the thing about this particular series. Lots of characters doing sexual things. And in case you're wondering, is this a hentai? Nope. Despite the fact characters do sexual things, none of the characters actually have sex. They tease it. Doesn't really go anywhere. To tease another episode where Maria decides to, like, I think it was in episode 6 or 7, where in order to recharge the battle, decides to rub her naked body against Bajin, who's actually complete. He's got a shirt and underwear on, so at least he's not completely naked. And that scene leads into the whole maple syrup stuff. Yep. As for what happens next in episode 7, we have a big battle between Bajin, Maria, and Mio versus 3 people basically that Bajin knows. All his childhood friends, 2 of whom being sisters. Yuki. Yeah, it was Yuki, Kurami, and Takashi, who actually still hates him for what happened 5 years prior. And they fight. Though they actually do something quite interesting. Though they basically transport the city. They make an alternate version of the city where they can damage it at a whim without doing damage to the regular city itself. Yep, and they fight the whole episode. In case you're wondering, does this take up almost an entire chapter in the second light novel? Yes, it does. It does take up almost an entire chapter. This battle. Yeah. Yuki, of course, doesn't really do much of anything in the actual battle itself. Mostly she's on the sidelines. You have Bajin versus Bajiro. I think that's how you pronounce the guy's name. I keep forgetting to pronounce the guy's name. It is Basara. Yeah, Basara, not Bajin. Basara, where he first fights Kurumi, and he doesn't hurt her seriously, though he does basically blow apart for Alpha during the course of the battle, though he does save her. Though he at least takes the time to make sure off-screen apparently decided to cover up her exposed breast. And at least he's very sensitive about it. As for Mio and Maria, they take out the other guy with water. Yuki comes in, punches Basra in the face, knocks him out, supposed to knock him for half a day, though he's knocked out for very long. Of course, Mio wakes him up, and then of course he saves Yuki from being killed. And then of course they take on the Guardian Beast, and then like this one guy, I think his name is Sadra, who basically is a wanted criminal. Somehow he released from prison for some reason. I think this guy may have been the one who actually took the sword 5 years prior. I think so. So they win, but they have to withdraw. Yuki and Kurama basically want to stay, but they have to go. But don't worry, it's dealt with the very next. Hopefully, I think it's dealt. As far as I can tell, it's dealt with. And in case you're wondering, is she still there in the light novels where I got to? Yeah, she actually lives in the house. Yep. Also, before they leave, like Basra gives Yuki a spare key to his house. Why? There's actually a reason for this, because when they were younger, she would come over to his house, and this is basically a way to sort of, let's just say, make sure it happens again. He doesn't mind having her around. He doesn't like the other guy. Yep. But oh no, these are actually pretty good episodes. Fun. Not dark. There's actually not much blood in these episodes. It's also revealed, though, that apparently, like off-screen, it's actually in episode 4, that apparently Maria and Basra have been killing a bunch of demons off-screen to protect Mio. Yep. Oh yeah, the Athena, of course, is dealt with in episode 8, but yeah, 7 kind of wraps up the first 2 arcs of the series, which is, like the first arc, simply the Demon Lore sister arc, which is simply put the first 4 episodes. These 3 episodes are the Hero Clan arc, which is good. The fact I decided to watch these. Yeah, because my original plan for this was to cover, just the first 6 episodes, and the next one will be next 6, and then the OVA. But because the fact 7 basically is inclusion of 3 story, I decided. In case you're wondering, like, how long are the books for this episode? The first 2 books are 299 pages. Basically 2 300-page books, which are pretty much roughly for these episodes. And of course, also, 3, 4, and 8 are the same length. They're the shortest of the series, being 328 pages. Second shortest is volume 6 at 311. The longest book is book 11, which from what I've looked online, this is the end of the main story. But I'll find out exactly what happened in that book when I get to it. And 12 is like the last book that they come up with. As far as I know, there's been nothing like the 12th book is the last special thing they released for the series, which I'll cover that at a later date. Yep. Otherwise, that's really it for this particular review. I might have time to do one more review tonight, but it all depends exactly when I get this view up and get those episodes done. Yeah, I've got like 5 episodes left for the season. Yep. So, until you see next view, bye.